Jets, they're in a tough spot, right? 2-5, currently in possession of the number 5 overall draft pick, but it continues to be all right. They're all in. All right, this week, all right, they fire Robert Saleh. They're all in. All right, they trade for Devontae Adams. They're all in. Hassan Reddick's back. They're all in. How many weeks in a
Hassan
row?
Reddick's going to be the difference, Trev. Hassan Reddick is going to be the difference.
How many weeks in a row can we be all in? Can we just win a football game here? That's what we're wanting here for the New York Jets. Sort of rumblings about what's going on in New England as well with the coaching staff. Is there too much inexperience there? It's just Gerard Mayo know what he's doing. I think that he does. I think that they're just struggling. And look, nobody likes to lose. And I think people I think there's a disconnect. Mini rant here. Sure. I think that there is a major disconnect with ownership and front offices making what is, I think, the right decision when they do stuff like this and they go, okay. We got to totally rebuild ourselves here. We're going to move on from Belichick. It's going to be a little bit tough. We're going to draft our franchise quarterback this upcoming draft. It's going to take a little bit of time. We're probably not going to be good next year. Might be not great even the year after that. But then 3 years from now, that winning window is really going to hit and we're really going to be a contending team for hopefully a late playoff run yet again. And then it plays out exactly the way that you thought it was going to. And now all of a sudden we start freaking out about it.
Yeah.
The Patriots are bad. Who knew? Everyone. Literally everyone. Yes. Everyone knew. And I don't know. Again, if things are bad behind the scenes, sure, maybe it needs to get cleaned up a little bit. I just think that losses make people very impatient. And it makes you lose sight of what you got a quarterback who's playing well. You got a defense that's all right, but obviously, you're still multiple pieces away, in my opinion. The offensive line's bad. The wide receivers aren't what they need to be. The run game has been terrible. It's going to be bad in New England. All that to say, I think the Jets' defensive line's got to show up in this game. That's my matchup that matters in this one. Because the Jets' defensive line has not been good this season. It has been one of the most disappointing units, I think, of any team in the NFL. And I understand, they don't have Bryce Huff anymore, and they hadn't had Hassan Reddick, and Jermaine Johnson's out for the year. But still, just as a whole, this group has not been good. And the floor of the Jets' defensive line should have been a lot higher than what it is right now. I mean, we're talking about a team that is 31st in overall pass in PFF grade for their defensive line at 46.2. Their pass rush grade is 20th in the NFL. I mean, this is a unit that was so much better even just a year ago. And they have a matchup to say, okay. The slide stops here. We're getting back to our dominant ways. Because if they look bad against the Patriots offensive line, which is last in PFF grade, 30th in pass blocking grade, last in run blocking grade, second most pressures allowed in the NFL. If you can't look good against the Patriots, it doesn't matter what Aaron Rodgers says. If this defensive line can't look good against the Patriots, the Jets have no shot at making the playoffs. None.
No.
So that's sort of my matchup that matters here.
That was mine too. It was mine too. Because this is the unit that has the most continuity, that is the unit that you were supposed to rely on. And I get it. You fired your defensive coach, the architect of this defense. There are inevitably going to be things that you take a step back on, but it shouldn't be this big of a step back with all the talent you still have on this roster. And now, you're getting Hassan Reddick back. So, or you're adding Hassan Reddick. I shouldn't even say back because he hasn't played for this team yet. That's the biggest thing. And you have an opportunity to do that against one of the league's worst offensive lines. And if you don't do that, if you don't win this game, then I am out completely on the Jets. I'm not willing necessarily to say that quite yet, given what Aaron Rodgers, even in his last year in Green Bay, I mean, they won 4 of their last 5 games. They were knocked out of the playoffs by a very spiteful Detroit Lions team. But it doesn't change the fact that Aaron Rodgers is still capable of turning it on and scoring a lot of points. So you need to do your part defensively in New York, and that is to prevent points. And again, take advantage of the opportunities that are being placed in front of you. I cannot imagine the storylines that will come out of this if, in fact, the Jets lose to the Patriots. That's just not an option here. So I agree. This is the matchup that matters in just the fact that this is an opportunity for the Jets to right at least one side of the ball. We're going to see on the offensive side of the ball, because that is what my plus factor goes into, which is for the second straight week, Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams.
It needs to be, sure.
It needs to be. I mean, The stuff we heard coming out about kind of the team culture, while it obviously makes sense because teams don't struggle like this with great cultures, seeing Devonte Adams come out and say very frankly, like, yeah, I didn't know that if I should speak up or not because I'm the new guy here, but what I saw was completely unacceptable. Like people aren't even celebrating, teammates aren't even celebrating good plays. He used the example of Brees Hall's like down the sideline chunk play run. He's like, nobody was celebrating that on the sideline. And like, that's when you know things are bad. It's like you can't even get into the good plays. Forget like, getting down on yourselves because of the bad plays. And so it's not only what it's the familiarity between Devonte Adams and Aaron Rodgers that needs to start paying off right now. And I know
Yeah.
like I'm not going to expect that out of any other receiver that comes to a new team, but this is different. This was billed to be different. This was sold to everyone as different. Aaron Rodgers obviously selling these things that are supposed to be different. SAT prep Aaron Rodgers apparently, if you saw the interview today, and he used some vocab words.
I saw the tweet about it, but I didn't actually click on the video. What was he
Oh
just
yeah,
flexing the vocab? Is that what he was doing?
yeah.
Mm.
There was a couple words in there that you can go and look at that. It's always something, man. But if you're going to sell me this chemistry between him and Devontae, it needs to happen right now. So Devontae is going to be the plus factor here.
Yeah, my plus factor, I'll go to the other side of things. Ramondre Stevenson, 3 out of the last 4 games he has played, he is graded below a 51.0 rushing grade. Now, it's very difficult, like I said, because his team is last in run blocking grade, so it's tough for running backs to stand out. We at PFF have said for a long time, when it comes to running the ball, obviously there are individual things that running backs can do themselves, but a lot of times they really lean on the guys up front to be able to have good rushing production, good rushing stats, and just be an efficient overall team on the ground. To me, the plus factor has to be Ramondre Stevenson, because for as much as I think Drake May can give you those pop plays,
Sure.
like I've said many times, for this recap show or this preview show, you need to be able to run the ball. We all love to throw the deep pass. We live in a world where defenses get it now. Like it is now. 3 years ago, sure, let it rip. Defenses are playing in cover one. They got no chance to stop all these deep shots. Like you could hit over the top as much as you want 3 years ago. Doesn't exist now. Every team's playing more too high coverages than basically they ever have over the last half decade. They are limiting what quarterbacks can do. They're telling you that you need to throw it short, and a lot of teams just are not being patient with it. The Patriots, they're getting a lot of good deep production, or I should, not a lot. They're getting good deep production from Drake May. I should just say that without the adjective there. But they need to be able to run the ball as well. And if they can't, I think the Jets are still going to outscore them in this one, even with them being at home.